That's good. You get to use it.
Exactly.
Let's see here.
It's still weird, like, leaves changing.
It does, it was funny being in the pool on Sunday.
Yeah.
We had the, we bring a TV out, put it on the deck to watch. Yeah, it is stimulating. Exactly.
We're not recording. I'm just getting my stuff together here. Okay. Fix the camera a little bit.
It's so much more clear to get that all set up.
Get used to it now. It's been a while. They gotta put in some more of this. If we like broadcast it on like TV or something.
Clearance IDA still doesn't stream everything. They can't afford it. Clearance IDA meets at Clarence Town Hall, but in a small conference room.
Okay.
Not in the big boardroom that has all of that equipment. I don't know why they don't meet in the big boardroom, because there's no one else in there in the morning.
Yeah.
No reason,
Yeah.
right? Although it's much cozier to sit around at a table and talk than to be in a huge boardroom for a small meeting.
Yeah. I haven't like, I had a thing with Pat Casilio, but I did not. Like talk about like anything. IDA wise, like with Paul or anything, so it was like, well, yeah, just see how I think it's, just see how it plays out, like I would not. Like,
Don't stick his fingers too much in the idea.
no.
His
Okay.
sister's on the board.
Mary is, okay,
Yes.
so the family network is there.
Right. That's great.
Yeah, no,
It's his wife is in the hospital.
oh no.
She needs a nurse. Then kidneys are failing now. So it,
Well, she may need like, some full-time care.
right.
So she's getting to that point, so. No, I didn't reach out to him this week, because we get together every couple of weeks or so,
Yeah,
but,
so
yeah, that's a lot.
it's affecting him,
Yeah.
as you would expect.
Yeah, and his birthday's coming up in November.
Okay, and
So
he'll
I
be
don't-
85.
85 maybe, 84, 85.
Yeah.
I end up.
Can you imagine working? I mean.
Huh? Made it worse. I left with this camera. I don't know how this weather is, could be a lot worse.
Very true, there's a lot worse.
Evacuation stuff, yeah.
Still report.
Having seen the news.
Yeah, they said it would like downgrade, but still, it's like 130-mile-an-hour winds. Like I can't even imagine. I remember years ago, we had like maybe like 90, 100. I mean, this was back when I was at McGuire, so years ago, and because I know somebody like one of our tenants, like she had a big plate glass window and it just shattered, like nothing even hit it. It was just the wind, so we were like helping her, and she was a little high maintenance, but she had a lot of leases, so we were helping her out. But yeah, it was just like a freight train,
Yeah.
like at that. So I can't even imagine. I've
When
never
I
experienced anything like
originally
that.
moved to St. Lucia, the island was hit by a hurricane.
Oh, geez,
On a honeymoon,
those figures.
on Friday, and we were flying out Saturday, so it was only a category 1, but standing in the hotel, you could feel the wind bowing the sliding glass door.
Crazy.
And they're like, well, put your mattress over the, okay.
Yeah, happy honeymoon.
But the noise
Yeah, yeah, that's, it's like, it's so loud, even at that, like a lesser rate.
Yeah, yeah. But we've stayed at a Sandals and they have a hurricane guarantee. So because the island was direct hit by a hurricane, they gave us a free week at any of their resorts.
Oh, nice.
We just had to pay airfare.
Wow. So, you said to stay in your hotel for one.
For one
One
day,
day.
and they gave us boxed lunches and
Yeah.
extra towels and everything to prepare.
Wow.
Yeah. So if, we lost one day, but. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
We were able to fly out that time. It amazed me the next morning. The residents were just out there clearing, like,
We got two. It's early.
good morning.
It's not that early.
7:26.
No car is supposed to rain.
People are moving a little slower in the morning. I wasn't
I washed mine yesterday.
Right.
too motivated when I saw I think it was like 46.
I know,
I'm like,
it's 42 this morning. My kids are still rolling out with t-shirts and shorts. I'm like, guys.
Yeah, I have a sick daughter and I'm sure, yeah, like last week, middle school, they don't wear jackets.
No.
It's like,
No.
It's like, I'm not gonna wear a jacket. I'm like, okay. Anyway, but I'm not gonna,
Yeah. What did you do? Take it out.
Maybe tomorrow. I think it's gonna be nice.
It was nice, yeah. Yeah. Great. Never mind that. I'm such a
Very.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, there were fun that night.
how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Sean?
Good morning, how you doing?
Anybody's well.
Good morning. Oh.
Let's look at.
What's you up to this week?
Not much.
Nothing too exciting, a little activity, got a showing
That's a lot.
Friday at the land, I don't know. who that is. Actually, the woman
Don't know who
just
that is.
No, but this commercial broker from Hannah emailed me, can we do a showing on Friday? And I said, sure. This woman, Paula Blank.
They're afraid that, wow.
So I sent her this, she
There's
called,
gonna be a third seat
then
anyway.
texted, probably around 5:30, so I hopped online,
One more reason to
sent her the info, and I said, well, just let me know, what you want to do Friday, gave her directions.
Yeah.
It's
And Mary
so.
Buckle. The one that
What is
were up.
going on?
And then Anthony.
Yeah, Mile Strip Road, like there's this little bridge, like.
Plus, everybody always.
Really? So,
I'm gonna come to the meeting.
And you should run.
so, I have to give people directions,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
because I don't want them like getting separated if their clients
Except for
come in.
that.
You want everything smooth, I think.
I'm like.
Yeah, so I sent that off, so we'll see,
So you think they are gonna leave it open?
and then,
But I was there
Yeah, it was
before
okay.
regular
We got-
elections were like.
I had a
month
meeting.
Yeah.
With like Platters Chocolates, I don't even know if it would be an IEA project, they emailed me. And I know. Like their relatives are with the Salt Cave, so I know Jim Pantool from the chamber, so I went out there.
Oh, Janet.
before. Hi, Mayor, how are you?
Like, it was interesting to see how much money
It
they
was.
make in candy and like how well they do it.
No, Andy today.
So,
Wow.
no, I think his plans had changed, so he's on his way,
I'll take his seat anyways.
so come on up.
There, Janet, snooze, you lose.
So, they're looking for like 8,000 square feet. Like retail, and then they do production more for like a little bit of a show. Similar, like they're in the Wurlitzer building, which I've never been out there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good size.
Oh, they're in 40,000 square.
So
feet.
when you.
That's like their main
Boxes.
plant.
Oh, yeah,
They
it's
got
building.
they got a big retail.
So you have the big building like on this side, you're gonna
It's
go
fine.
over to the,
Yeah, but they saw, I think they.
Yes.
prefer-
you're gonna go to the
No,
other,
no food.
and go in the.
They don't do
Watch
food.
it.
They, like maybe some of the
Classrooms and
ice
everything.
cream and pastries and.
Okay.
So, cause yeah, I was.
So I'm right by the.
Meeting that I went to, and it was pretty crowded. And all they do is,
But they're
you know.
Yeah.
Expressway,
So-
Expressway needs to roar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that Highland House might be an option for
so,
them, but
yeah,
somebody bought
it's,
that. Highland House candy.
Must sit there on camera all day.
Well, the building is, what was.
Well, the site,
The
yeah,
site is, yeah, it's not a, it's a site,
so
yeah.
they got bought. Yeah, like,
Um,
but I don't understand how this stuff works with the county and real estate, like all of a sudden that went, like all these other things have to go in an in rhyme. But then at the same time, like Chickawaga Concrete, like that site, like how does that stay?
Yeah.
Like, it seems to be like
The student presentation.
not a standard, like transparent process.
No, you have to understand who's involved in Chickawaga County. Let's see why it's not that.
No.
Politics behind.
Well, that's what I heard. And then this one gets listed real quick, you know.
Yeah.
Our adult program.
I work with.
You are-
Go away all the time, 'cause I was doing the stress properties.
The county legislature, yeah. And it's,
Pine Street set for a long time.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. You battled that. You battled that one.
but
My
that's
son
the
struggled.
other one, when I work with them too, so I basically.
Doing along my, he told about that. Sign language or.
David Burke's, like that project is getting a
Really
fight
don't,
that,
You know,
makes multi-family on.
my son heard his bad,
Yeah,
because I took him.
so that would be fine, like, there's nothing else, like a coffee, room, there's the Tim Hortons, but nothing like a coffee shop. And with all that,
Yeah.
those people need some more.
The future partners.
Yeah.
Oh, you really?
So,
Oh, there's
That's
a,
cool.
there's a shrine, which I hadn't seen before.
El Bueno.
you're the chair.
Next to the
Oh, wow.
Observatory,
That's your division.
which I hadn't seen. I'm trying to.
You know, because then last night, she
Yeah.
was-
10 acres.
So.
You can still go the orange of any work.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I know where that, you ran, happy ran. Are we ready? Right? See, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, we got enough people here.
We have a form and we have the time.
All right, we'll get going here. October 9th, 2024. Hamburg Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors meeting. Let me get my recording going.
Hello. How are
Good
you?
morning. We'll start with roll call. Mary Ann Costello is coming in. Cam Hall,
Here.
Bob Hutchison, Janet McGregor Clark,
Here.
Thomas Moses,
Here.
Jamal Perkins,
Here.
Davis, Davis is not on the board anymore. Bob Reynolds,
Here.
Wentz Valentin,
Here.
and I don't see Palmer yet.
And our attorney's present.
So, and we have Jennifer and Mary Doyle. And we'll start with our pledge of allegiance. Please stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to open the October 9th Hamburg, New York IDA Board of Directors meeting at 7:34 a.m.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Janelle. First item are the approval of the meeting minutes from September 11th, 2024.
So move.
Thanks, Janet.
Second.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, carried. And then next, here the door. Andy is here and we'll go over the financial report from September 30th, 2024. Mr. Reynolds.
Good morning, everyone. Andy, you shook. Let's get the phone.
What's that? My rental, man. My midlife crisis.
Oh, okay. Financially, I don't know.
Again, good morning.
Going to
everyone.
executive session.
We gotta talk about this, Andy.
Oh, wow, I gotta look at that. Total income for the month, Andy, was $2,560.80. Most of it was interest on our demand deposit. We had total expenditures of $13,292.67 for a excess expenditures over income of $10,731.87. While we're on that page and looking at it, I just want to point out that for the year from January to September of the 30th of this month, we are positive at $26,111.02. The total asset of our organization called the Hamburg Industrial Development Agency is $960,442.64. Need a motion to approve.
Don't move.
Second.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Jamel.
On the question.
Yes, Wentz.
Is there any way that when we put this package together, we could put the sheet so that the way he reads it, we see it in our package?
Yeah, well, the is the director report on top?
No, this
This is the
this
first.
is, you know, go to this.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay,
I just try to break it down.
Sorry.
okay.
If I was the next one, we shuffling around trying to figure out what.
Okay.
I'm reading.
Cheating off them.
Very, look.
So page one should be page two.
Right.
Page two.
Right,
Okay, we can do that.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Carried. All right, next on to my updates. In terms of project activity, the TNL Beachfront Holdings, which is the ServPro project, that is getting close to closing. I would expect Jennifer and I had talked that it'd be closed by the November meeting. Just a few more documents remain, insurance, namely, but that's moving along as we would hope. Couple other items, in terms of activity in the market, the Lakeshore Road, the Gateway Building, the town board did approve a public hearing for a planned unit development at that site. So pre-development activities over there are moving forward. I'll inform the board when that public hearing is scheduled. We had talked last month about some land at Jeffrey Boulevard under contract. There's still some decent industrial vacancies out there. And then 3970 Big Tree, which is the Gateway printing site. That has about 20,000 square feet leased. It still has 10,000 square foot available. So there was some occupancy over there. It's generally like mixed use type operations over there. Kind of like second locations for warehousing. But that building has decent occupancy and it's moving in the right direction as well. In terms of community engagement, we had meetings for the town of Hamburg Brownfield Opportunity Area. There will be another public info session, the second one, as a requirement for that application. And so it will be the second and final, I believe, before the application would be submitted next spring. That'll be November 7th. So I'll send notification out to the board on that. But that is an important project for development and kind of like the Woodlawn corridor down through Ford. It would essentially provide some additional tax credits for development there and hopefully some infrastructure improvements. There are a lot of comments regarding traffic through Woodlawn and congestion and potential traffic calming measures and any side effects from traffic calming. So if you have comments for or against, you may want to pay attention to that and become involved either in person or by submitting written information to the meeting.
Has
boundary been shifted it back a bit into Wood One? I know it sort of stopped around 5, didn't it, or?
we're really we're really taking it up to the northern border of the town because
Right.
we want to include that Republic Steel site, which is, Republic Steel had ceased operations, laid off the majority of the staff, so that's about an 80-acre
Right,
site.
I'm just thinking about moving that back east. So it picks up the part of those parcels that are in, like the Republic parcel that's in, let's say, Blaisdell. Or the Metallico parcel that's.
Oh,
that's
yes,
split.
that goes it would go all the way as it's drawn. I can send the map.
It's still a park, isn't it?
It goes, no, I don't think it goes to the
Doesn't.
rail.
It goes all the way down to Wabaco, I know that.
All right,
Don't
because
show
I think
these down
originally
there.
it wasn't that far east. If I
Okay.
remember the original,
You know, it goes to rail.
Okay, I believe
Oh, the rail.
it's like presently
The
goes
rail
to the
makes
rail.
sense.
So and then would extend down through for almost to like up to like Johnson's Landing. Into that area, because not so much like brownfield, it will include the Lake Erie Commerce Center, which is important to know. But there's, some of that kind of like interchange down there, like down where past, there's some town-owned land. There was a skate park down there.
Right.
It's kind of underutilized land, which is really close to the water. So I think they're trying to see if the traffic can be reworked down there to potentially, provide higher and better use for some of the land down
As long as they don't have another traffic light.
there. So that's some of the.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm cruising good, then all of a sudden I get to my spot.
My brother has the same complaint, like, give me 5 minutes, now it'll take me 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, traffic calming, you're not gonna. It goes past where they wanna go, because everybody's coming in. From Angola and everything like that, they're doing 55, 60 all the way down, and all of a sudden they're gonna come into this. Supposedly traffic, I mean, it's gonna really create more nightmares if they don't look all the way down the road. To set up a better traffic there. That's just my opinion,
Not in my backyard, Bob.
I know, it's in my front yard.
Literally.
What's the website for that,
No, I don't know, but if you go to townofhamburgnewyork.gov
Yeah,
and there's a link along the left side of the screen, kind of in like the bottom quadrant.
okay,
You'll see they have a special link right there. It's right to the left of the agenda and minutes link.
okay.
I also moderated a panel presentation with Pat Casilio, Brian Kulpa, and Carl Montante Jr. regarding town centers. So it was some interesting information. You've probably seen a lot of the follow-up articles in Business First and the Buffalo News, just in regards to the redevelopments of Eastern Hills Mall and the Boulevard Mall sites and some of the impediments to development, some of the financial constraints. But those projects are moving forward. Really nothing on the radar at this time regarding the McKinley Mall, probably be the next question. But it's interesting to follow those developments and kind of potentially, if there is some development at the McKinley site, lessen the learning curve as that mall would be potentially repurposed down the line. And then last, stadium area rezoning. There should be a public meeting coming out soon for that. We had selected the consultant Fisher Associates was selected, and I think I provided that update in the September meeting. We had a committee meeting in October, and I think we'll re-engage with the consultant and have more of a timeline and a go forward from that, just in regards to potential rezoning of the stadium area. And Orchard Park has made some approvals in terms of having more entertainment related uses in particular sites in the town of Orchard Park as well. So they're going through this process in addition to Hamburg to hopefully have some more supportive zoning and sites around the stadium area.
What's the closest to this, what's the closest Hamburg address to the stadium? Where exactly is the one
Well,
there?
the the town line, and honestly, what I think would be the best site, would be ECC South. So if
Right.
ECC
And that's,
South would be.
and the other side of
put up
BCC
for
South
sale.
is Orchard Park.
So essentially where the stadium sits, that's what you're, like, the stadium is really like on the town line.
Oh, it is.
So it's kind of like that Sheldon,
If you go down Abbott Road and you're heading toward Lackawanna, everything on your left is in the town of Hamburg.
Right.
Everything on the right is Orchard Park until you get to,
28.
until you get to Lake. And then it becomes West Seneca.
Right.
Until you get to the lake.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Going
Yeah.
forward,
Oh,
But then when you get to Southwestern, it pops out to Orchard Park a little bit.
so, and those are all Blaisdell addresses, so everybody, during
Right.
snowstorms calls here.
right?
I'm like, oh, sorry, you're in the town of Hamburg.
The cell tower that's on ECC is about where the line goes. roughly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like next
So
to,
they're Orchard Park schools, but town of
Right,
Hamburg
right,
taxes.
so like that Burt's site, the Burt's Bikes is a big site. There's some vacant land next to Burt's. That's all town of Hamburg. So those are some parcels that, it'd be tight, but you could squeeze in, like a limited service hotel, like a Hampton Inn or a Courtyard. You're pushing 4 or 5 acres. And in addition to that, part of the initial plan is, McKinley Mall site. Like to have some zoning compatibility at the McKinley Mall site. Isn't as convenient as being next door, but that would be, potentially, impacted as well. The ECC South site is a big site, so that you can do a lot with that site. So these areas, in terms of like Patriots Place, in terms of the Lambeau one, like the footprint of ECC South could accommodate those developments. So you're looking at like 90 acres there, so you can do a lot.
Are you looking at 28 too? Are you rezoning on that side over there where that playground is and everything coming?
I don't, I think that's probably in the boundary area, but I
It
don't
is.
see, just because it's so residential over there.
Right.
I don't see it, it's
Well, that's
it's
what I mean,
largely
not
R3, like
You
multifamily.
mean off Parker there? or whatever?
No, you got, you know how you make the turn and go down 28 out to east,
Yeah, that's
Easter
Parker.
Road.
That's Parker.
Yeah, Parker goes this way, but I'm just saying that whole area
There's
there
a
is.
subdivision back in there that.
That's gotta be a
Lumen
county.
Built, yeah.
You're-
Well, that's, and that's
With
currently
ECC
in
South right
secret.
there, yeah, that's all
Yeah.
part of that.
So, well, there are, not related to the IDA, but there are development activities going on over there for cluster housing and multifamily.
Right.
Along that side. So I would think, that may be situated by the time this would come around. Like that may have its
Well,
entitlements
because
done and
you're
be on the
gonna rezone the
development.
whole area over here and it has an effect on that whole.
Oh, certainly.
Right.
I mean, certainly I mean, I think that's part of the process, where the
Yeah.
consultant is engaged, that there's gonna be, public, some. There might be comments from the public that they don't want this, that they, this is, my backyard and it's a residential area. We don't want the traffic. We don't want the noise.
So is the zoning that we're doing, will it give additional incentives to the IDA to provide assistance in this area, do you think?
It would, depending, the zoning could go in a direction that would be compatible with IDA projects.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Okay.
So if it would
That's-
be,
that's-
an entertainment expo type area, that would be more compatible for, industrial development for our projects.
So
if it's-
right now, on Southwestern, a good majority is already zone C1. I'm looking at the zoning map. Down where you have, Big Tree in Southwestern.
Yeah,
That is C2. ECC currently is R3.
whoa,
Okay,
That's-
which is typical for schools,
What
like
what
Immaculata.
does that all mean?
R3 is like apartments,
What's C1, C?
like general
Commercial.
commercial.
What's the difference between 1 and 2?
I think the type of industry or commercial you're allowed to have, I'd have to
I
pull
think
up.
it's more,
Oh, wait, I can tell you, hold on.
Might be size.
It's heavier.
Well, I think it's size and it's a type,
Type
like,
of
a
it.
lot of times C1, you can have an auto repair shop. You can have retail, you can have, a barber shop,
can't have
a beauty
junkyards
shop.
and stuff like
You
this.
can't have a junkyard, you can't have a manufacturing.
Right.
So you go across that other way where Wester owns, what is that over there? Wester Toyota?
Yeah, right.
You know, that's like a
All that
bigger
collision
footprint.
shop.
Yeah, yep.
I think we need another car wash there.
So I don't, you know, but if you go on the town website, you can pull up their zones.
And in the public info sessions, I would venture to guess, you know, typically what happens is they'll have zoning maps like blown up on panels. You know, so when you go, you can kind of see what's there and, you know, a lot of times like offer comments to like what your vision would be for this site. Yes, Andy.
Yeah, just, is there any idea what they're trying to change to, or does it count that part of the conversation?
Like in my mind, you know, and I think the general, you know, we've had like 2 meetings, so it's a lot of just brainstorming at this point. But I would think, you know, in this committee, again, when it gets expanded to the public input sessions, the focus may shift, but like, I'm thinking like a stadium, like like compatible zoning would be like a exposition area, stadium expo area. So it would be like,
Oh, it'd be like a
compatible.
separate zone outside of what we already had.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
So it would be compatible with like hospitality related businesses, retail, convention. Accommodate like a convention center, like that would potentially be the vision over there. Perfect. Could completely change the names. Tomorrow. Well, that's the public process, like it or not, that, you know, the things get molded through that. Camp Road Interchange District moving down through advocacy. We're still working with the town to kind of, again, shift that language to understand like what the town wants to see over there and what limitations for hotel related development that we had talked about in September. So we're still working through that process. And our comp plan implementation committee continues to meet. And then we've had some business development activities, a local manufacturer. This would be a new operation. So it's a very early stages, but someone with some experience in food production is seeking a site around 20,000 square feet. So I'm working with that gentleman, and then another, you know, small manufacturer producer with a retail operation is seeking a second location. You know, just kind of a second location throughout Western New York. So I'm working with that one as well. Jumping ahead to the land, do have a showing on Friday with an unknown client at this time. So there's a little bit of activity out there, fits and spurts, but a lot of the, you know, consensus among the industry is generally development is a little bit in a holding pattern for the next 30 to 60 days. So we'll kind of see what goes on and if that impacts, but hopefully, you know, we'll get through that process one way or another, and then we can kind of move forward with some of these projects that are seemingly, you know, crawling into emergence, which is positive. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, new business. We have our 2025 meeting calendar, which is in the packet. Essentially represents the date and times similar to this year into next year. So I'd like a motion for approval.
So second.
Was that Janet? Cam? Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Call for executive session. Motion to adjourn the October 9th, 2024 Hamburg Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors meeting at 7:55 a.m. Motion. Thanks, Wentz. Thanks, Bob. Ace. All in favor?
Aye.
That's important. Okay, next meeting is November 13th, 2024. On to the Land Development
Got
Corporation.
everything on.
Thank you.
Now I can talk about Andy's area.
Don't be jealous, Bob.
I
Don't
was
say nothing
thinking of
but
doing
good.
it. I don't know if I can do it.
I don't think I.
Those
My
young
daughter's like,
kids,
"That's
Maybe it's got
amazing."
some
I'm like,
growth here.
those young kids got influence on me now.
Like, I'm 40, I'm gonna lose it all here shortly, so
Oh,
why
yeah.
not?
He doesn't have a bride and groom skeleton on his front porch like you do, Bob.
That's because I'm not 40 anymore. I'm on the far end. Dee and I are saying that's what's gonna happen to us. But we're drinking, you notice? Hey,
What's that?
Janet to the rescue.
I know, thank you, Janet.
Janet,
Much
you notice we're
appreciated.
drinking.
I saw him yesterday.
What is he drinking?
Uh,
What time was it, Janet?
When I drove by his house.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning.
I was up only to 1 o'clock last night.
Okay.
So I did good.
5:30.
Oh, that's a
I went
plus.
to look at.
I drive by at 2 o'clock, Bob,
Yeah.
just so you know.
I'm up at 1 last night, so you could have stopped it.
All right, we'll go with our Land Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting. Mary Ann Costello.
Here.
Cam Hall.
Here.
Bob Hutchison.
Here.
Janet McGregor Plyer.
Here.
Tom Moses. Jamel Perkins.
Here.
Bob Reynolds.
Present.
Wentz Valentin.
Here.
And Andy Palmer.
Here.
I had you excused. We were
You're all
down
right.
below. Okay, and then we have Jennifer and Mary, a motion to open the October 9th, 2024 Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting at 7:57 a.m.
Moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Motion, first item on the agenda, motion to approve the minutes from September 11th, 2024.
Motion.
Thanks, Wentz.
Second.
Thanks, Andy. Any questions?
On the minutes,
Mm-hmm.
we have Davis moving something.
Still have David.
You wasn't here.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
Was he here?
No,
No, he wasn't. He
No.
couldn't stay it.
That's correct.
I'm looking, Janet. I don't.
It's down.
It's at the end. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to that.
Cut and paste there.
Mary.
Yeah, it
Okay.
happens.
I think that was his final tribute.
It was from osmosis.
It was close.
Osmosis.
His final
Okay.
tribute to the board.
We'll have to go back to that. So with that change, I'm gonna motion to table the minutes.
We can make a motion with any
Just motion
necessary
to amend.
corrections.
But we don't know who.
I don't know who it, like, I'll go, I can go back and see if it was in the recording, if we have a record of it.
We'll actually go
Does
back.
anyone remember?
I think it was
Who
Bob.
closed the land development?
Chances are it was Bob.
It was Bob.
I think we all agree it was Bob.
Okay. Yeah,
Bob sounds good.
Okay.
I make that amendment that Bob closed the meeting. And the Land Development Corporation and approve the amended minutes as read.
That was a mouthful.
Okay. Second to that motion?
Here.
Cam, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the financial report from September 30th, 2024.
Okay, pretty easy, pretty basic. We had $4,704.99 of total income. A great month of no expenditures. So our grand total of liabilities and equities is for the Hamburg Land Development Corporation, $1,718,025.46. Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Bob. All in favor, on the question?
I got, just wanna, since we're in finances, Sean and I have been looking at the budget projections, and Mary. So just so everybody knows, we've been tracking everything and we're in pretty good shape to being close to where our budgets are in all areas and stuff like that. So we've been going over that, so everybody knows on both corporations.
I understand Lowe's.
Because I use paper.
On the question,
Yes.
just as far as the value of the property, that's consistent value, right? We don't got any value creep on that. it's gonna be 5:30 until?
We're essentially carrying it as a, like what we, so potentially for example, in 25, we had budgeted, assuming that would be approved to do some site clearing and whatnot. We're essentially tracking our costs. So some costs into that on behalf of the land. So acquisition, environmentals.
Yeah,
if
so
we
that,
pay-
well, that's the reason why it would grow, is simply because we've invested money into it.
Yeah, it's not based like on an independent appraisal or anything like that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. One thing I missed in my director update, just a couple of quick things, and then I thought maybe we could just do introductions for Mary Ann as we go around. She's official now. Town board got that out of the way, so we appreciate that getting done, and we've gone through some of the state requirements through the authority budget office. So all the kind of mechanics are out of the way. But just two quick updates from my side. I submitted to the executive committee some additional comments. There was, in terms of the grant update through the state, they had some additional questions in response to our grant. So there is some level of interest there, which is optimistic. So I submitted a package to the state. So we'll wait to hear on that. I think they had posed some questions, and I think we had good responses. Namely, that the semiconductor sites need to be 40 acres and above. And then when I drilled down the leading semiconductor type businesses in New York, there's really only one at this time that occupies a site greater than 40 acres. So I felt that was a good argument. And in addition to that, the amount of our grant request is kind of in line with the size of the land. So we're not seeking, $5 million for 40 acres of land. We're seeking $250,000. And this grant monies would essentially help to pre-permit the land for development to make it easier for outside investment. So the ask is less, the land is less, but therefore the ask is less. So I feel there's some good business justifications back to the state in regards to our ask. So we can at least push back on those ends. And then the other item is the Feedmore closing. Ran into a little bit of a hurdle. They had related to ESD as well. There was some confusion, I guess, in terms of the ESD process in terms of obtaining. They were granted $24 million in funds through ESD, and they need to essentially have a line of credit to float the project before they can draw on those funds from ESD. So now they have to go back to M&T in advance of the bond closing because they won't be able to close on the bond. They're looking to get this done in the next, this month, right? In the next 2
I
weeks.
think it was determined though that would be yearly.
Okay. So there are some hurdles in terms of them being able to access, a substantial amount of their fundraising. So there was like this question about the line of credit, and then, essentially bifurcating the closing, doing the line of credit first and then the bond sale. I don't know. I jumped off at 11:30 for my meeting. Do you know where kind of you were on a little bit longer?
They were still arguing over getting that done. And
Okay.
then I jumped off about that too.
Okay. So it's a little messy. So chances are the last couple meetings have been canceled because the process was seemingly moving along smoothly before this hiccup came along. So we'll probably have another update next week. So we'll probably at least send some communication to the executive.
How much money do they need for a line of credit? Did they say?
I don't recall any numbers being floated about yesterday.
I thought it was like 37 million because it was higher than originally. So then it had to go back through M&T underwriting. I mean, this is
That's a lot of
not,
money.
this is not like,
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
37
They were
million
really
dollars.
yesterday just trying to figure out the process. Because this was just a huge curveball.
Is that gonna, you think it's?
So ESD through the curving?
requiring the line of credit.
Is that a new
Who's their bond
regulation?
council?
They are using Hudson. Russ,
Their side is,
right,
and we're using Harris Beach.
right, and their regular counsel is Rich Grimm. Do I have that correct, or? do I-
Yes, you're correct, you're correct.
There were so many attorneys on the call.
So,
Well, there-
Oh, that explains it.
Don't say anything.
the best I understand, these are existing regulations.
Okay.
You know, one would hope that, you know, the organization is doing substantially well in fundraising. You would think that, you know, they do have, I believe, commitment letters. I mean, one would think like a commitment letter, you know, certainly, you know, we have approval through our agency. They have this commitment to some extent through a line of credit with M&T. You would think that would be enough, but I don't know the intricacies of.
Well, certainly
These
somewhere a
requirements.
ball will drop, either on
So-
the state side or on Beatmore side. Is
So,
that
yeah, I
fair
mean,
surmise or?
well, I mean, I think it was that I just think that it was unknown. I think this was a requirement to ESD that was unknown to Feedmore. I don't know if it was not conveyed or if it was information that was submitted that was overlooked. But you know, it certainly is a hurdle.
I don't want to prolong this, but I'm just curious, like, so ESD, do they have like a liaison that works with different entities trying to apply for this, or is this?
Oh, I would,
The entity has to basically make sure they have all their ducks in a row.
I would have-
Empire State Development has their folks up in Albany, and then they have regional
Mhm.
reps throughout the state,
Right.
so sometimes this hand doesn't talk to that.
Okay.
So was that project on hold?
No,
Oh, it's still
moving
going?
forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so nothing, I mean, they're still working on it.
It's just a delay in finance.
yeah, so worst case scenario, I mean,
Just cash flow at this point.
Right.
well, yeah, a worst case scenario, they would not be eligible for $24 million, which they would have to seek out. You know, I mean, this is just me
Yeah, well, that's.
talking outside the agency.
Right.
So, yeah, I
Pull
mean,
it from
Yeah.
Feedmore, you can pull it from Feedmore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Good luck.
so,
Have you seen Stranger Things though, Janet?
no.
I mean, I'm trying, that would be worst case scenario. My hope would be that, you know, this was just brought about. They'll communicate the hurdles to it. There, you know, I would imagine, venture to guess, there is representation from the state that is trying to assist in navigating this. You know, so you know, the governor is in full support of this project. So it was just more so how the funds are getting to the not-for-profit entity, and it was through ESD. So maybe that path changes. I don't know, but it's certainly a hurdle. You know, we were, you know, it was all well and good up until yesterday, you know, where we were tracking to early December. So it's kind of, you know, it's a little upsetting, certainly more upsetting for the agency, you know, that's under construction right now and is going to start to see some big bills coming in. There's a lot of work going on over there. So
Just a warning, we're just gonna, the project closing in December 24 could be pushed
Into next
back.
year.
Mm,
I don't know, Feedmore is pushing really hard to keep that.
Okay,
But you have to make everyone happy before they.
I wouldn't mind seeing the money in next year, I'll be honest with you. Cause it would help, because we're doing well this year already, so if we push the money to next year, it kind of balances our
I'll
budget
take it
down.
out.
But it is as it is.
Rather see it close today, sooner
I know
than
you.
The hand.
time kills deals. Time
Kills
is a
deals.
big salesman epitaph. Time kills deals. So
This
It ain't gonna kill the deal.
I.
We gotta feed
We've seen everything.
Hey,
So
that's why I sit here.
God bless New York City.
I'm trying so hard.
So the money seems to flow through, you know, sketchy channels very efficiently, but for a legitimate not-for-profit agency trying to. feed
I had like,
Wait a minute, the
those who are
recording's
starving.
still on.
That's
I was gonna ask, I gotta put out any mayors involved in the fundraising, either from Buffalo or New York City.
So. Okay, so can we you wanna start with our chair and then we'll just do some introductions so you can kind of become familiar with everyone, at least in terms of their backgrounds.
Yeah, Bob Hutchison, I guess I'm the at-large member now, but I was previously the assessor for the town of Hamburg. We probably dealt with each other. That goes back about 10 years. And then we're on the master plan review committee as well.
Dan?
Cam Hall, so I'm your equivalent from the Hamburg School District, so been on the board 10 years now, believe it or not. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah.
Jamal?
Oh, Jamal Perkins, town planner.
Yeah, you know.
You know me, Mary, and I'm an at-large member of the board
Currently.
currently.
Yes.
Andy?
Yeah, Andy Palmer, been on the board for 8 years now.
He represents the village.
Village of Blaisdell.
Tom Moses, past mayor of the village of Hamburg, and been on the board for about 17, maybe 20 years now.
Wow.
It's been a long time, but it's been a worthwhile venture.
You're still a village representative?
Yes.
Right?
Mhm. Yep. They didn't kick me out yet.
Once balancing, I'm at large. We said we've been on the board for 10 years. I work for United Auto Workers.
I'm the quiet guy. I'm Bob Reynolds. I've been on the board for 10 years. That's a former mayor over here, former legislator. We have a lot of little things here. I work for the UAW. I was put on as a union rep for this board. And watch over the finances for our great organizations.
All right, you wanna talk a little bit about your career at Frontier?
Well, I began as a teacher in 1977. And then I moved into administration. I was the high school principal, assistant principal, staff development. Then I moved to central office as the information technology person. And then I was assistant superintendent for curriculum. Then I retired and now I'm on the board. This is my 7th year.
Fun fact, my locker was next to Mary Ann's when she started teaching. Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
And it's Mary Ann, right? Not
Yes.
Mary, Mary Ann.
Mary Ann.
All right, I have no new business. We have no unfinished business. Call for executive session. Motion to adjourn the October 9th HMI LDC meeting at 8:13 a.m.
So moved.
Tommy seconded. Boy, we got everybody.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
Mary's your expert on
Not
foreign
Davis.
language. Mary
Davis.
is not Spanish.
Davis,
Is Davis here?
That's a record.
Yeah, so in the town board meeting,
Are you still crossing?
Um,
Yeah.